Also, just a quick word of thanks to all of the YouTubers and content creators that I'm putting up here on the screen right now. Thanks to these people, these guys, I have been immersing myself in the in the Warhammer lore and learning about all these different characters and the setting and all of the different pieces to the story. And then also looking at the action figures before I got mine, being able to look at reviews and stuff. Thanks to you guys is why I'm into Warhammer right now. So I appreciate that. Check these guys out. Subscribe to them if you have not already. Greetings, YouTube. So, as you can see, this little flyover here, we are going to take a look today at the JoyToy Warhammer 40K offerings. Tons of different figures. They pump out the figures on a regular schedule, on a regular basis. They announce stuff and then it's released in like a couple of months. So if you're trying to get in on this, it's very easy to assemble a legion or a decent amount of figures very quickly because there's a ton of them out. They're also available in multiple different places. Everything from Amazon to Big Bad Toy Store to other online retailers. They're easy to get. Price wise, depends. If you get packs of them, they come cheaper. You can get them for, less than $40 a figure. If you're buying named characters or ones that are a little bit bigger, built on bigger bodies and stuff, the price starts to go up a little bit more. And it is what it is. And they are of a very different quality, or a very much better quality than, say, like a regular 1/18 figure that you might get somewhere else. This is JoyToy's finest work, in my opinion. So let's have a look at them, and I will run through the factions that I have or that they've released so far, and we'll talk about the universe itself a little bit as well. All right, here we go. All right, so very, very quickly, I want to try to run through what exactly Warhammer 40K for 40,000 is, for those of you that don't know. So basically, there's this tabletop game called Warhammer, and I want to say it was called 30K when it first started. And it's about this futuristic empire of man and its struggles in the wider galaxy. There's an emperor who is almost akin to a god, who had created unity within the human species, but he had also created the Adeptus Astartes, which are the Space Marines, and that's what we're going to be looking at today. So these Space Marines are basically Super Soldier, Captain America Super Soldier, Halo, Spartan, Star Wars, Clone Wars, all wrapped up into one. Throw in Gears of War if you want to. Power armor, genetic enhancements, cybernetics, and legions of them. Absolute legions. And they are sent out to the worst battle zones and the worst battle fronts to enact the Emperor's will and serve as his wrath manifest. So it's basically what we're looking at here. That was the very, very quick and dirty version. It's much more deeper than that. Okay, so first up we have the Sons of Russ, the Space Wolves. Their Primarch is Leman Russ, and they are akin to Space Vikings. They're savage when they need to be, which is kind of a lot, and they are very well known throughout the galaxy as the Emperor's Executioners. They hail from a planet called Fenris that is a snowy planet. They very much fall into the Norse mythology, Asgard type things. Even some of their landmarks and fortresses and stuff are named for Asgardian myth. So the Sons of Russ, the Space Wolves. Okay, next up we have the White Scars. This is a very new faction as far as JoyToy's releases. These ones just dropped, so there's only these 3 available so far, but they look awesome. These are the sons of Jagatai Khan, who is their Primarch. So they come in the white armor. They have a very Mongolian kind of feel to them. Even their characters look to be, of a different maybe nationality or whatever. Another awesome entry into the Warhammer universe for JoyToy. All right, next up we have the Black Templars. So they are a chapter that was founded after, they call it the second founding. and basically they were parts of the Imperial Fist, but when they broke down the Legion into different chapters, they became the Black Templars, and they feel like they are still on a crusade to smite the enemies of mankind, and their crusade is never ending. Here we have the Blood Angels. So these are the sons of Sanguinius, Primarch that actually had wings and was considered to be one of the best and most noble of Primarchs. Did have his genetic flaws though, as far as the red thirst they call it, where he would like have a craving for, human flesh and blood. But they are an awesome chapter as well. Incidentally, they also have this sub-faction, which is the Death Company. They are also Blood Angels, but they are Blood Angels that have not been able to control the red thirst, and they just are berserkers almost, and they get put into these death squads to go do these impossible missions because they're basically sentenced to death, so they're going to die a honorable death by still serving the Imperium. Alright, so here we have some bad guys. We're switching it up a little bit. So even though these guys look like regular Space Marines on first glance, they are actually Chaos Space Marines from the Black Legion. They are the sons of Horus Lupercal, who perpetrated the horrible and dark, destructive Horus Heresy affair that half the legions basically under the Emperor's, in his Adeptus Astartes, turned traitor and caused a huge war to break out between the loyalist Astartes and the traitorous Astartes. It was not a good time for the Imperium, suffice to say. But yes, these are the Chaos Marines, the Black Legion. Next up on the docket, we have one of my favorite legion/chapters, and it is the Imperial Fists. So these are the sons of Dorn, of Rogel Dorn. He's a very well-respected and very powerful Primarch, and they are awesome for a ton of different reasons. But one of the reasons why I like them is that some of them come with this huge battering ram fist that's part of their armor. They also have a cool color scheme, like the red and the yellow just pops. Some of these guys come with cool shields, and then you got some of the bigger guys here, like this captain here, Tor Garadon, who is outfitted in all types of different stuff, has these cool details. I'm gonna go over the aesthetics here in a little bit of some of these guys, but some of the stuff that they pack onto these figures is just crazy. Okay, so for the last Legion we are going to look at today, we have the Ultramarines Legion, or chapter. They started out as Legion, and they are the sons of Robute Guilliman. One of the Primarchs that's actually still around in the 41st millennium, 42nd millennium. Many of the other Primarchs have disappeared at this point, or been killed, or have turned to demonhood, or whatever the case. The Ultramarines Legion is probably the one that you may have seen in different media and different advertisements and commercials and stuff like that. They seem to be the most popular one. I remember before I even got into Warhammer, I thought these were the only ones. I didn't know there was all these different legions and chapters, which I'm happy about because I like the variety, but this is the one that people recognize. And just like in the lore, being the most numerous of the legions, they have the most figures out too. There's a ton of Ultramarines figures out. I don't even have all of them, and this is quite a bit. They also have the most vehicles out. So you have this beast here, this ATV, two-person ATV attack vehicle, which is completely awesome. Excellent, 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 excellent. And then you also have this bad boy, one of their bikes. Very nice. Aesthetics here, these are so cool. And because of the way they're built, wide tires and all that, it just stands up by itself. You don't have to worry about it falling over. And just as an FYI, they've also released one of these for the Black Templars. And they also have one coming for the White Scars. Hasn't dropped yet, or not in the United States anyway, but it's coming. Yes. Ultramarines. Okay, so I'm going to take a couple of minutes and have a look at some of the aesthetics of the figures and talk about some of the differences between the body types. Because there is a difference with the releases as they got more into the line. So this Death Company guy is what's considered to be an intercessor type figure. And he is also on what they are starting to call the 1.0 body, kind of like how Mythic Legions has that set up. The shoulder pauldrons peg in with like a ball peg into the shoulder, whereas the new version of that level of figure, Primaris Marine, I don't know if you guys can see that, the shoulder pad is connected with a thing that goes around the arm, the top of the arm. And Primaris Marines are supposed to be slightly bigger than the original ones, because that's how they are in the lore. So I did see some people complaining or at least talking about the fact that the Primaris Marine should have been bigger, like should have been a little bit bigger, maybe like that. But it is what it is. This is what they ended up coming up with. But that is part of the lore. Then you also have these guys. These are also 1.0 type style figures, but they're actually even smaller. At least to me, they seem like they are. Maybe I'm just making that up in my head. But they seem to be even smaller. And it might just be because their ankles are not as robust as these guys' armor. Then you have your bigger types of armor. I want to say this Chaos Marine is in what they call Terminator armor. So it's just more robust. And then you got, I want to say these guys are called Aggressors. And they have these special hand or arm cannons. And they also have a bigger, more robust, probably more leaning towards Terminator armor. What you will find is that the named captain type characters or whatever the case will also usually run bigger. Captain Tor Garadon here, his armor, you can tell by looking at the boots here, is more akin to the bigger types of armors. This guy here, Eradicator, has the bigger, taller boots. So same thing with the captain here. And you can see that he is noticeably bigger than a regular Astartes. Probably even noticeably bigger than a Primaris Marine. So you see how that works out. I mean, in the lore, the Primarchs are like this much taller than the Astartes. So maybe even more. So there is a size discrepancy between the different characters in the lore. And JoyToy has made an effort to try to honor that. It may not be perfect. Probably isn't perfect. But you can tell they have tried to delineate who's supposed to be bigger and who's not. Okay, so final thoughts on the JoyToy Warhammer 40K offerings. As you can see, I'm all in on this. These are so awesome. And JoyToy has done a great job of recreating the looks from the miniatures, which I don't own any of the miniatures, but I've seen them online. And many of these characters, or well, not many, but a few of these characters are taken directly from the miniatures. And as far as the armor and the weapons and all the different details, it's spot on. It's spot on. These things are great. And then they come out with them so often. I mean, they'll put out pre-orders or teases of stuff, and then it's literally out to get, to purchase in like 2 or 3 months. So there's not these year-long waits for figures and things like that. So just a all-around fun line to get into, and the lore is so deep and rich that you can just immerse yourself into it and find out about this universe, the grim dark as they call it, and it's just a pleasure. So can't wait to do more with these guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Later.